What's up, friends? So today we are talking about how to control your emotions. If you ever had a feeling where you couldn't control how you were feeling because you didn't know what to do, this video is for you. Let's do it. Hello again, my friends. Welcome to another tip on growth. My name is Josh Lewis. Today we are talking about how to control your emotions. This video is particularly for you if you ever had a challenge not being able to control your emotions and not being able to really stay stable in situations where you needed to. So let's get right into it. So number one, you have to understand that all emotions are action signals. I believe it was Tony Robbins who said that emotions are really just action signals. They're just a call to action of what you want to feel. See, what happens is in our brains, we process things that happen to us or we perceive that happen to us, and then we decide to have an emotion on it. And it is a choice. And it is a choice on what emotion that we want to choose. What happens is we have a rule. We have a rule that says, if this happens, then I must feel this way. So what happens is our body produces an emotion to teach us to do something. So for instance, if you're being emotional about something like something that was sad, you have a rule that's saying this is sad to you, this is something that's upsetting to you, and this is something that makes you want to cry. So that emotion is telling you, hey, things aren't going well so right now. I don't feel good about this and I want to process it through feeling sad. So what happens is that action signal, that thing is telling you, hey, we should be sad at this moment because we don't like what's going on. So you must realize that emotions are controllable, and really what they are is they're action signals. They're things that call us to action on what we believe, on what we perceive that we want to feel better on, and how we can act in a sense that's better towards the situation instead of just maybe not being able to process the situation. Because really all emotions are our perception to perceive an actual situation. And that brings me to step number two. So what are these emotions teaching you? So for instance, what is anger teaching you? Anger is teaching you that somebody has violated a rule against you and you're becoming frustrated, you're becoming upset with it. What is happiness teaching you? Happiness is teaching you that something is happening that makes you feel good, that makes you feel happy, and you want to duplicate that situation. What is sadness teaching you? Sadness is teaching you that there's something of a loss that's there, and you need to be able to either fulfill that loss or get something to a different location besides feeling that loss. See, all emotions are teaching you something, and the ability to be able to control your emotions is realize what they are teaching you. So you must become intentional when you feel that onslaught, that wave of emotions overtaking you. So for instance, if you all of a sudden start to feel waves of sadness, you need to be able to understand, stop and say, okay, this action signal, this emotion of sadness, what is it teaching me? This action, this emotion signal of anger, what is that teaching me? So you're able to dissect it and then realize if it is profitable for you or not. Because sometimes being emotional in a situation is not profitable for you. So for instance, if you were to be corrected by someone publicly, and instead of screaming at that person because you become frustrated and anger, this is where emotional stability, and this is where being able to control your emotions would be better, because you would be able to dissect the situation, know what you're feeling, know that you're feeling angry, frustrated, maybe embarrassed, and then realize what it's teaching you. And by dissecting the emotion, you can take the next step of action. So the next step of action is asking yourself, number three is, what else could this emotion mean? What else does this emotion mean? So a lot of times when we perceive things, it's through one source. It's through looking at something. Let's say you're looking at it directly instead of, you're looking at it something vertically, a head overview. And what happens is your perception is limited over a situation. And when that happens is, if you only see one side to something, you may not see the whole entire side. So asking a question like, maybe this means something else, or what else could this mean to me, is something that will be profitable to you because you might be able to see something from a side that you've never seen it before. So what happens in a situation like that is when you're asking yourself, what else could this mean? Your brain says, well, it could mean that, if this person's frustrated, maybe they feel a sense of loss. Empathy is one of the biggest things to help you be able to control your emotions. When you're empathetic towards other people, what happens is you realize that the reason why they might be emotional is because they have something that's going on, a sense of loss, a sense of a rule being violated. So you can understand and perceive that, and by dealing with the situation with empathy, you're able to understand their world better, so you're able to control your emotions better. Guys, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. I've got new tips on growth coming at you every single week. I got one more final tip on how you can control your emotions, but make sure you hit that subscribe button so you're notified, ring the bell so you know when these tips of growth are coming at you. My last and final step to controlling your emotions is very simple. It's one of the most simplest things that you can do. Ask yourself, what is this emotion meaning in the next day or so? Meaning, so what's happening right now is important to you, but what is this gonna mean in the next day? The next day that something happens, if this emotion to you is so strong right now, well, tomorrow it be as strong, well, the next day it be as strong. So what that does is it kind of takes away the pain of the exact situation. So what happens is you realize that this is very emotional to me right now, but what if in the future, next day, tomorrow, in the next week or so, I'm not gonna feel as strongly as this. So it kind of helps you remove, by taking the location of the anger or situation and removing it farther away from you, it kind of takes away the pain from it. And you're able to look at something in the grand scheme of things and say, is this as important to me as it would be in the next day or so? Or would it be important to me, in a year or so? Does it matter as much as I thought it would right now as it will in 10 years from now? Usually the answer is it won't. And usually what happens is it's because we're only perceiving a situation based on how we directly see it at the moment instead of seeing the whole entire world. Emotional intelligence is one of the most important things you can learn as a human being, because it really helps out your people skills, it really helps out your growth, it helps you understand other people, and it also helps you able to perceive situations better so you can interact with people better. Becoming emotionally stable is a challenge, but it's one of those things once you figure out how to do it, it's almost like a life hack, because most people in life have a hard time being emotionally stable. And if you're able to stay stable in emotionally draining situations, you can understand the situation a little bit better and kind of get a leg up on the competition, whether it's in a work experience or whether it's in something that's a relationship, that you're understanding them better so you can get to the root of the situation that's even better. Becoming emotionally stable is a challenge, but it's one of those things once you apply every single day, you can get better at it. You, my friends, you got no idea how powerful you are. Have a great rest of your day, guys.